everyone, and welcome to Storypath Showcase, where each session we delve into one of the Storypath games, showcasing it, hence the name of the series. And in this particular season, we will be playing They Came from Camp Murder Lake, which I have been looking forward to quite a bit as a bit of a slasher film aficionado and one-time director myself. So, in case you're new to the channel, my name is Travis Legge. My pronouns are he, him, they. And when I'm not running games here, I am writing them, or I'm running them over at my channel, which is Plastic Age Plays, or various other Twitch channels throughout the universe. So before we dive in too far, I guess we'll have everyone go ahead and introduce themselves. Tell us who you are, what you do, your pronouns, and anything that you would like to share with the class, and then pick someone to go after you. And we will start things off this time with Alex.
Hi, I am Alex, he, him, also with Baxter, he, him, and I am a filthy casual dog dad, personal trainer in training, and yeah, looking forward to dying repeatedly, but not first.
That's fair. Who would you like to tag in next?
Allie, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Allie DeVries. I am she, her. I am excited because I also love slasher films. So when Travis asked me to do this, I was pretty pumped. So I also don't want to die first, though. So it's going to probably be a competition because I really don't want to die first.
I can already tell the group dynamic is just going to be throwing each other at the killer.
You only have to run faster than the person next to you.
Exactly. And I'll pass it to Gilbert.
Excellent.
Hi, I'm Gilbert Ramos, see him. It has been a week since I've been on the internet, so I forgot what I do. That's all I got. I'm bad at that. It's completely gone. I'm so sorry. It is a week is it, dude. That's all I got. I'm done. I'll pass it to Chad.
See, I know what you're in Colorado. I know what you've been doing with that week off.
I did enjoy my mini vacation. You're absolutely right.
It came from where?
Listen, if you're interested in mixing a little bit of shall we say, herbal assistance with your They Came From Beneath the Sea Jumpstart is highly recommended. But please, Chaz, give us your pertinence.
So hi, I'm Chaz, he, him, PhD student who studies music and storytelling and video games and all those fun things. I'll be honest, I am looking forward to dying first and then dying second and then hopefully turning into the villain so I can slash all the other people. I don't know how to make that happen yet, but like I have a few plans in the works.
I wish I could say that would be the first time I would witness you do that, but it really wouldn't.
Nope.
So there is established precedent.
Leave it to Chaz to like find a way to up the body count even more in a slasher game.
It's not going to stand too close to Chaz. It's going to become collateral.
And yes, as we've alluded to, in case you're unaware, They Came from Camp Murder Lake is slasher film focused. It's part of the They Came From series. Specifically, it is a supplement for They Came From Beyond the Grave. So as this is session 0, we're going to start things off with building our characters together. We are going to determine, as we would with any other They Came From game, we'll go over our characters' aspirations. We will go over our safety tools that we're going to be using. We'll be going over the budget of the production. And I think on this occasion, we'll come together and make some decisions about what exactly type of nemesis you will all be facing in the story. Because I think it's best if we all have some idea of what we're getting into. And I think that will play in nicely with the safety tools discussion as well, because these are slashers and some of them might bump into people's squicks. So we want to make sure we're being respectful of that. this is a perfect time to remind the audience that these games get a little spoopy sometimes. And we have the adult filter on for a reason. We will be using foul language. We will be describing horrible things within the bounds of the safety tools that we lay out during this process. It's going to be fun. But if that's not your kind of fun, I might recommend that you watch another one of our lovely actual plays and not particularly this one. Having said that, let's dive into our characters. So in They Came from Camp Murder Lake, you're using essentially the same character creation sort of steps that you're probably familiar with. For those, everyone here has played a They Came From game, is that correct? They came from beneath the sea at some point, perhaps?
I was in
I don't know if
with all
Allie
the
did or
weed
not.
jokes.
It was the one. Allie is not. Okay, so this will be a little new for you. But you've played Scion before, so you'll have a little bit of familiarity with the core system. So as we're getting into the actual character creation section, you will determine the concept of your character. Now, in They Came from Camp Murder Lake, all of the They Came From games have strong sort of archetypes that you would draw from for your personalities. But when They Came from Camp Murder Lake, they're specifically, I think, magnifique for determining some character concepts. So if you'd like, we can drill into these for a moment, maybe start there. I know that's a little unconventional, but I think it'll tie in nicely to your character concepts.
Chapter 2, right?
Yes, that is chapter 2, Archetypes, Origins, and Dark Agendas. Your archetypes are, and these are all pretty self-explanatory, but please, by all means, if you need me to stop and break one down, let me know. The innocent, sort of the person who, don't drink, don't smoke. What do? You're the innocent. That's what you do. The jock, we all know them. We all love them. You're sports oriented, you're physical fitness oriented. Maybe you're lifting weights and you make the terrible mistake of falling asleep on the bench press. Shout out to Nightmare on Elm Street 4. The Joker, we've all seen the Joker in the slasher films. You're the person that can't take anything seriously. Everything's a blast. Everything's a riot. The nerd, which again, I think at this table needs no explanation.
What's a nerd? like technically, what's a nerd? Objectively.
Well, actually.
There you go. Thank you.
And last but not least, the Wild Child, which is one of my personal favorites. You're a punk. You've got a mohawk, probably, possibly a dark backstory involving drug addiction. Shout out to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. What
a rush.
So those are your archetypes. Now, you can also incorporate the archetypes that are in They Came from Beyond the Grave if you so choose. But I personally think that we're probably good with the ones that are in Camp Murder Lake. They are slightly teen focused, which is fine by me as long as that's fine with everyone that's here. If you would like, though, players, I can give you the rundown of the other ones. But if you think that you'll be able to draw from those concepts that we've already discussed, we don't need to get into those.
What exactly was the question?
I thought you're the one that wasn't in Colorado. The question was...
it's recreational here too, bud.
All right, my bad. The question was, did you want to go over the archetypes that are in They Came from Beyond the Grave, or do you just want to stick to this list?
I'm fine with these.
Sure.
That's enough for me. We get to make 2, right?
So that was something that we had discussed a little bit off camera beforehand. One of the concepts that I had for this campaign was that we would do 2 sets of characters.
I have an idea. What if we each made 2 characters, and we know the first one's going to die, right?
Yes.
It just goes without saying. So what if we got to pick who everyone else had to play? like you make two characters, but I get to pick who dies first. And then we go around the table and everybody has, somebody that they get to pick. No, maybe. Just saying.
I don't think the order in which they die necessarily would be fun, what might
not
be
the
fun,
order, which one they lose. I'm saying, like, if I made a nerd and like a jock, Chaz
so you
could decide which one I played first.
He's like, yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Sure.
I would love to.
Does that make sense to everyone? So everybody will make two characters, and then we'll decide which one is your sacrificial lamb at the end of the process. This is becoming super complicated.
I'm always down for a little chaos.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So you will need two. So you'll want to save yourself a copy of that character sheet because we'll make them both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you have two copies of your character sheet. One is going to be your first character. One's going to be your second character. All right. So then, since you had this brilliant idea, Alex, why don't you tell us first what two concepts are you going to steer into for your character?
I'm going to have an innocent and a nerd.
Okay. Innocent and a nerd. Excellent. Allie, do you know what two concepts you want to go with?
I will do a nerd and a jock.
I love it. Chaz, do you know what two concepts you want to go with?
I'm thinking an innocent and a joker.
Innocent and a joker. Love it. Okay. And Gilbert, what do you got?
I'm going to do a wild child and a nerd, I think.
Excellent. I can already see how this is going to end. All right. It's just going to be a bunch of nerds in that second round.
No, because we get some nerds are going to die first. There's way too many nerds to not kill a bunch of us. We got nerds dying for days.
All right.
This plan works. I'm telling you.
Now we need to look at aspirations. You will have your long term, which is sort of the thing you want to overcome. Your long arc story, the thing that you would like to be able to do before the credits roll on the film, and then your short term aspirations, which are something that can be achieved within a single session. So if you think of them in filmmaking terms, something you'd be able to achieve possibly within one act of the film. So you will need two short terms and a long term.
Is there a list to choose from? Am I supposed to pick these?
You can sort of make these up. So you can say, like, what's the big thing that your character would like to do? I think personally, if everyone is okay with this, we're going to just assume that your characters are within the nebulous age of undergraduate, right? So everybody's an adult, which will allow us a little bit more latitude with the content we present. But nobody's like in their master's program yet. Now, you might not even be college students, but age-wise,
Okay.
that's where we're going to be. So thinking in terms of like a long-term thing that you might want them to be able to accomplish, what would your jock want in the long term? And this
To be in the NFL.
Okay, yeah, to become a pro football player. Beautiful, I love it. How about for the nerd?
A nerd. Maybe to get her doctorate, and I just don't know what in yet. So PhD.
That's great. Those are great long-term aspirations. Chaz, what do you have for long-term aspirations?
Circle back to me. Working those out right now.
All right, Gilbert.
I've got a short term for the wild child. Nothing long term yet, though.
Okay, what's your short term for the wild child?
I've got blow up a mailbox and sell the nerd marijuana.
Those are beautiful short-term aspirations. I love it. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Alex, what do you have for aspirations?
So the innocent long-term aspiration is to be a Hollywood film director.
I love it. Okay.
So he is a film student And my nerd, where did that character sheet go? Long-term aspirations is to be published in a peer-reviewed journal of what does he study? Metallurgy.
Excellent. Peer-reviewed Journal of Metallurgy. I love it. Are you still working on yours, Chaz?
No, we're good. So my innocent is just going to try to leave the small town.
Okay. Wants to get out to the city, the big city.
I had a friend who came back and told me all these like wild and crazy things, and that's unheard of. But I think it's time I set foot out there.
Excellent.
My Joker is just going to want to be a famous entertainer. Like, I've entertained the people around me long enough. I need to spread my laughter to the world.
I love it. All right. And in terms of short-term aspirations, Allie, these are things that, like I said, can be achieved within one act of the story. And they can very much be like an out-of-character thing, right? So if you just want to make sure that you punch a Nazi, for example, you can decide that's going to be your short-term aspiration.
Okay. So for the jock, he just wants to do something cool in front of people.
Okay. So he wants to, excellent. That's a
like
good
attention. Yeah. I'm stuck on the nerd right now.
All right. And just they do each need 2. So
okay.
Go ahead and think through for a moment. Gilbert, do you have your long-term aspirations or your shorts for the other one?
Yeah, I've got my long-term for the wild child is to get away with a crime above a misdemeanor level.
Excellent.
And the long-term for the nerd is going to be get a job at the local insert science place here.
Okay, beautiful. And have you done any thoughts on short terms yet?
Nothing for the nerd yet, just the marijuana in the mailbox for the
excellent. That's fair. Alex,
yeah.
Your other aspirations?
Yeah. So the innocent one, he is convinced that he has to make his movie first, right?
Okay.
He has to get his indie films going, but he doesn't have a scream queen, so he's looking for her.
Okay. So his short term is to find a scream queen.
And the other one is to morbidly, because he needs to capture a tragedy on film.
Okay, excellent. Capture a tragedy on film. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then for your other character,
my nerd, my metallurgist, is tired and wants to decompress from his studies with drugs.
Excellent.
And slap an adult in the face.
I love it. Okay, beautiful. Let's, while I'm asking around about the rest of them, permeate on names maybe.
Yeah.
Ellie, did you find your other aspirations yet?
For the jock, he needs to get a high five.
Okay, needs to get a high five. I love it.
And then I think for the nerd, she's going to want to teach someone something new.
Okay.
And study a scene or study something.
Okay, so do some investigating.
Yeah, okay, that's a better word.
Yeah, awesome. I love it. Chez, are we waiting on any aspirations left from you?
Short term for my Joker, I need to crack a slamming joke. People don't need to think it's slamming. I just need to think it's slamming.
All right, that's fair and on brand. Continue.
Yeah. And the second one, I need to prank someone maybe with a knife scare, oh, I'm gonna stab you, but that would never happen. So
okay, right. So you want to do you want to create a jump scare?
Yeah, like a jump scare. Yeah,
I love it.
For my innocent, I want to try a rebellious act. You can't just go straight into the big town. You got to test the waters first, and then make your way there. But I also still want to be helpful to a close friend. Help them with a problem that they're having. I just want to be there for them, help them through it.
Excellent. And then does that leave any more? Did we get all your aspirations, Gilbert?
I got my two short term for my nerd is going to be one, have a conversation with a cool kid, and then the other one is convince someone that science is cool.
Excellent. I'm loving these aspirations. They're all giving a very strong, solid cast, slasher movie cast vibe. I love it. Let's work.
Science is cool, Gilbert. Science is cool.
Thank you.
Shut up,
Appreciate
nerd.
that.
So yeah, let's think of names while we're going through this. Our next step is to choose our paths. So you've all chosen your archetype path. That gets us a third of the way there. Next up is the origin path, which covers your background. Your background is kind of, your history, who you are. Now, there are several origin paths that are listed in They Came from Camp Murder Lake. There's the imposter, which is someone who's living a lie. They become very good at sticking to it. The leader in waiting. You're going to rule this town someday. You're either the child of someone in power or you aspire to be in that. The mean streets. You didn't grow up alone, but sometimes it feels like you did. You grew up on the wrong side of the tracks. The new kid. One day your family picked up everything and took you from your friends, your classmates, and all the familiar places. Round two, you've been here before and not in the metaphorical sense. Last summer, you and your friends expected a fun time and stepped into a nightmare. I don't know if that's appropriate for anything that we have planned here yet, but I'm open to ideas. Stacked permanent record. You've got a record with campus security and you're proud of it. Your school days are long behind you, or maybe not, or you've known a troublemaker on the job. You're always looking for ways to get one over on those that dare impose their rules on you. Tainted bloodline. You come from bad blood. Your family is filled with murderers, sorcerers, cannibals, or some other sort of malefactor that's only spoken of in whispers. Whether you're the polar opposite of your family's history or find that you have more in common with your ancestors than you are comfortable with. That would be the tainted bloodline. The incident. You personally experienced something so overwhelmingly or ridiculously tragic that the town only refers to it as the incident and refers to you as the poor dear or one tough kid. Troubled home. You love going to school, going to camp, or just being out of the house because your home life is in dire straits. Or wiser than your years. Your friends describe you as an old soul. You're able to look at situations calmly and clearly, and you've developed a reputation for giving good advice. So do any of those origin paths sound good for any of your characters?
I mean, sure. What page are the...
They start on page 36 of Camp Murder Lake.
So close. I was so close. I definitely want to use the new kid for Tobias, the film director, in a very kind of like Christian Slater from Heathers kind of vibe. He's
okay.
He just kind of showed up. He walked around with his camera and just like creeps on people.
I love it. It's perfect. So go ahead and write that down as your origin path.
I don't know what the hell it does, but I'll look at it in a second.
Your origin paths, all of your paths will give you certain skills and example trademarks. We'll get into that once we have the paths all sorted out. And you're looking for the path for the second one?
Yeah.
All right. Any of those paths hop out at you, Allie?
I think for my jock, I think I'll do Troubled Home.
Okay. It's got a bit of like Emilio Estevez and the Breakfast Club kind of vibe going on.
Yes. And then I'm between Leader in Waiting for my nerd or Wiser Than Your Years.
Okay. Go ahead and think on that and we'll circle back. Gilbert, do you know what you want to do for origin paths?
Absolutely. I'm going to do Mean Streets for the Wild Child and Tainted Bloodline for my nerd.
Excellent. And,
no hesitation.
None whatsoever. Chaz, what do you got?
But Joker's also doing mean streets. And I think I want the imposter for the innocent. I have a plan.
Okay. Excellent.
I took Wiser Than Your Years for my metallurgist.
All right. And so, Allie, what does that leave you with deciding for your nerd?
I'll take leader in waiting then to
Okay.
do other ones.
And then you all have what's called your dark agenda path.
Yes.
And this will sort of determine it is again sort of like an aspiration. It represents your hopes and dreams. And these are larger, you can work in a larger framework to the context of the path if you want to. We can tweak the wording if you like, but these are sort of the basic ideas. So the first one is, and the prom's tomorrow. You're either in charge of a big social event or you're emotionally invested in its success. Maybe you're set to become prom royalty. This is the event that puts you back in the black, or you just really like parties. Whatever the reason, where it gets out, there's a bunch of people getting murdered. It could get the social event canceled. And if it happens during the event, it's total mood ruiner. So that's your dark agenda, is to protect the party. Babysitting deal. Whether it's just a job, you're an older sibling, or you've just found a child wandering around in the chaos, you're responsible for the life of someone much younger than you. Clearing my name. You've been accused of something you didn't do. This might be something criminal, like getting pinned for the slasher's murders, or it could be something more mundane, even petty. But you want your innocence proven. Good old-fashioned revenge. Someone did you wrong and you intend to make them pay. I want action tonight. You're in the mood for love and not the chaste kind. And send it back to hell. The time for screwing around is over. People are dying. You're the only one who can end the nightmare. Talk of the town. You're an important person, even if no one knows it yet. You've got some talent waiting to be unleashed upon an unsuspecting public. And you've been living in someone's shadow for too long. So that's talk of the town. Test my mettle. Someone thinks you're a coward. And while it might be true, you believe it's important that no one sees you as a coward. The big score. You're a treasure hunter. Well, it could be something that's only valuable in your eyes, like a family heirloom or a childhood toy. Your treasure is usually something that has a little more exchangeable currency involved. So you're trying to get One-Eyed Willie's rich stuff. That's your plan. Or truth seeker. This place is full of lies. It hoards secrets, hiding them underneath its pleasant facade and friendly townsfolk. And you want to expose it. Do any of those origin paths sound appealing to any of you all? Let's start things off with Allie. You got any of those reach out to either of your characters?
Yes, for my jock, talk of the town.
Okay, excellent. Let's go ahead and mark that down.
For my nerd, send it back to hell.
I love it. Excellent.
They're very different people.
How about you, Gilbert?
I'm gonna put good old fashioned revenge for my nerd.
For your nerd?
Yeah.
Who better?
I want my nerd to be fucked up.
Okay.
I don't know yet for my wild child.
Have you given any thought as to who or what your nerd wants revenge on?
I'm thinking school bullies probably. It's probably that tainted blood peeking through where he's like, all right, motherfuckers. All right.
I'll show you. I'm going to feed you your parents. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Chaz, do you know what dark agendas you would like to?
My innocent is doing send it back to hell.
Okay. Excellent.
And my Joker is either doing good old fashioned revenge, because how can you not? Or, not gonna lie, I want Ash tonight is speaking to me.
I am for it personally, but I leave that to the group, and we will discuss, of course, like how during safety tools, how we will address scenes involving. Right. Yeah.
I also assumed the jokes I have planned for him are going to make no one want to be anywhere near him. So like, you could want action tonight, but it's going to happen. Yeah, these are not going to be great jokes.
That's fair as well. I'm for
not
it.
going to seduce anyone.
Yeah,
I think it's great, and recommend it. But I leave it to your judgment.
Like a walking unfunny hard on.
So Alex, do you know which dark agendas you?
Yeah. Colin Culpepper Jr., the metallurgist, is a truth seeker. And Tobias is also a talk of the town.
I love it.
He's got something to prove.
All right. And did you land on with? You were still working on one. You got both ears. Alex, forgive me. I'm like juggling twice as many characters as normal. You got both ears, Allie. Were you still right? Were you still working on yours, Gilbert?
I'm going to do clearing my name for my wild child.
Right.
Any crime that he commits, he's going to be very, very fucking proud of.
That's
anything he didn't do, he's not going to.
Like, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I would.
I would be there would be billboards, damn it.
Yeah, but you're going to be like, suspect number one.
All right. So everyone is settled then on both dark agendas, all 6 of your paths, all 3 paths for each character, right? Yes. All right. Excellent. So once that is completed, our next step of character creation is we will now assign your skills. So as you're going through your path, each of your paths will have skills that are typically associated with that path. So if you look at where your origin path is listed, and again, those start on page 36, you will see suggested skills. Those are the skills that typically that path takes. So if you want to just make it easy on yourself, you can just put an O on that specialization line of the character sheet next to those skills. If you want to swap one of those skills out for another skill, as long as you can make some reason why that skill makes sense for that path as well, I'm fine with that. But that's what they're there for, I guess I should say. So does that part make sense?
These are the skills we can take.
No, you would mark down an O next to them because they're from your origin path.
Okay.
And you do the same with the dark agendas, the same with the archetypes.
What's the checkbox for?
The checkbox is there in case you want to track which ones just come from your paths.
Gotcha.
Am I putting little circles or am I putting an O in the text?
Where it's got the little text next to the name of the skill on the character sheet, where it's got that line.
Okay. Put an O.
Yeah, put an O. And then if you have more than one path that it connects to, you'll put a comment next to it, and that'll be, D for dark agenda or A for archetype.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So let me know when you have all those skills broken out.
So where do we get the archetype skills?
They'll be on the archetypes page.
Do I have to pick a trademark to get those, or is it just all the skills in like this block of text here?
So where it says the block of text, you get 4 skills. Okay, so the blocks of text that are written down with the archetypes in Camp Murder Lake actually has like 2 sets, right? So to give you an example, because you can customize your paths.
I see.
So so like with the nerd, if you wanted to take the academic leaning nerd, you would take the first block. Or if you wanted to be more the corporate accountant type, you would take the second block.
I see. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm guessing overlap just means you can inevitably like spend more on them, right?
Yeah, overlap. Make sure you track both paths.
Yeah.
But yeah, overlap gives you more opportunities to spend points during character creation.
So do we do the same for the dark agenda too? Oh, is the art? So what are the trademarks for?
We'll get to trademarks in a minute.
Okay. And do our dark agendas have skills too then?
Yep.
Okay.
Don't mess with the archetype skills quite yet, yeah? Or are we?
Do you want to swap out? Did you want to swap out some skills?
I'm golden. I don't know what skills the archetypes offer, I guess.
Yeah, it's in. If you go onto the archetype page where it describes the archetype, in the skills listing, you'll see 2 blocks, like 2 paragraphs that have bolded skills in them.
Yep. Okay. Gotcha. They're bolded. I'm blind.
It's all good. Yeah, and again, one of the features of They Came From is you can sort of build, in any Storypath game, you can sort of build your own paths. The way they're doing it in Camp Murder Lake is they're giving sort of 2 pre-constructed options for those paths. But again, if you wanted to swap some skills, we can make that work. Is that making sense for everybody? And is everybody following along and getting those marked on their sheets okay? Does that make sense? You have a question, Allie?
What is Larrency?
Larceny?
Larceny. There you go. Sorry, guys.
Larceny,
I'm not good at reading.
Good. Larceny is like stealing stuff, sneaking around, basic criminal behavior.
So for technology,
Mhm.
I don't know if that would be like just the way I'm envisioning the jock. I don't think that he would really be into technology. Can I trade that with something else? But does it have to make sense for where I'm trading it out? Like, so for my dark agenda, or does it have to make sense for the jock?
If you're pulling it out of your dark agenda, it would have to make sense for your dark agenda, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But you can also not take points in one of those skills. So like if you wanted to just have technology there as one of the skills, but not take any points in it, you can do that as well. And you will kind of have to a degree.
Oh, okay. Okay, so then I'll just mark it and see where we go.
You look perplexed, Gilbert.
I have PDFs on all the screens, so I'm just like, I'm good. I just am giving myself whiplash.
All good. All right. So if everybody has all of the, I know it's a lot of characters too, but if everybody has all your stuff together, so when you purchase the skills, the way that this works is each of the paths will give you 3 dots to spend among that path's skills. All right. So you get 3 among the ones that are marked O, 3 among the ones that are marked D, and 3 among the ones that are marked A. You can certainly spend all 3 of them in one if you want to. You can spend those 3 points however you want to within that. And so if one is doubled up, you get 2 chances to spend points on it. Make sense?
Tracking.
So the only way to get like 5 in something, you'd have to have it in 2, right? And then you should spend 3 and then 2 to get.
Yeah. You will get more points. You get a certain amount of bonus points when that's all done.
Sure. Those are like the freebies, right? Like whatever you can pick.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Yeah, you can put them wherever you want.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
I don't think I was following, but was I supposed to mark down all of the skills that are mentioned in the nerd and the jock too?
Right. So you get 4 of those. So you see how they're like broken up into paragraphs where each paragraph has 4? You can pick one of those
okay.
sets for each one of those. And skills are definitely like the cornerstone of Storypath. That's where you originate your rolls from. You know, you'll say, I'm going to be rolling close combat, and then whatever attribute it goes with. So you want to make sure that you're really kind of building that foundation when you're making the skills for your characters. If that makes sense.
Survival.
Well, I'm sure you'll get opportunities to roll it.
Thanks, Travis.
And then once you've got all of those spent, just let me know and we'll go into your free skill points.
And it's three in each, yeah, just to
Yep, 3 per path. Yep.
verify. Copy that.
So it should be 9, right? We're done. So it's 9.
Yep.
Okay.
And then once you have those 9 dots spent for each character, you get 6 dots that you can put wherever you want. So when it's all said and done, you should have 15 dots in your skills.
Okay, so you said 9 dots from the paths.
Yep.
And then after that, what?
You have 6 dots to spend wherever you want on each character in the skills.
And you don't have to have
Right. You don't
it
have
from
to,
any of your paths.
it doesn't have to be from a path. It doesn't. It's as long as it's one of the skills. You can take the skills up to 5 if you so choose.
So we get 6 points afterward?
Yes, 6 points in skills.
Okay.
What would you use enigmas for?
Solving puzzles, figuring out mysteries, sort of. Like if you have evaluating clues, I guess I should say. Investigation is for finding clues. Enigmas is for figuring out the meaning. But it's also good for like puzzles. It's good for if you wanted to try to communicate something secretly to the person across from you. Enigmas might be a way to do it.
Okay.
You know, for example, if you are under a bed and Uncle Cletus is walking in with a chainsaw, and you want to tell the other person that's in the room that Uncle Cletus is coming without saying, Uncle Cletus is coming, you would use, you know, you would probably use like integrity to keep your shit together, and they would use enigmas to figure out what you were talking about. And then when they botch their enigmas roll, they would step directly in front of Uncle Cletus's chainsaw. What? And let you know, letting Uncle Cletus know that you are there while failing to understand what you were saying.
So we should have how many dots total?
Your total skill should be 15 dots.
Okay.
I'm excited.
I'm excited that you're excited.
Dude, Colin Culpepper sucks. He's so bad at life. He's just so bad.
I see.
But he's gonna get high. It's gonna happen.
Most assuredly. Are we ready to move on to attributes? Excellent. So for attributes, you have your 3 arenas: your physical arena, which is might, dexterity, stamina; your mental arena, which is intellect, cunning, and resolve; and your social arena, which is your presence, manipulation, and composure. In other words, the things going top to bottom, those categories are your arenas. You will take the one that is most important to you, and you get 6 dots to spend however you like among the 3 attributes in your primary arena, 4 dots in the secondary arena, and 2 dots in your tertiary arena.
Okay, I should have wrote that down.
4, 2.
6, 4, 2. Perfect. Okay.
And you don't count the free dot that's in each one of them. Those are the number of dots you can add.
Okay, cool.
And once those are spent, you will decide. If you look at the, you'll see the 3 approaches are marked on the sheet that go horizontally across the attributes, which is force, finesse, and resilience. Force tends to be like brute strength, powering through. Finesse tends to be being delicate or deliberate, and resilience is like just tenacity, effectively. So you decide which of those approaches your character favors, and you may put a box next to that under favorite approach.
Did you put an X in it?
You just click the box and whatever pops up there. I think it just fills in.
It gives me a text box.
Okay. Yeah, put an X in there. That's fine. And then you can you add 1 dot to each of the attributes that are in your favorite approach. If that brings one of the attributes above 5, then you have to move that dot anywhere else within that arena. Oh, no, I apologize. It moves to another attribute in the approach. So if, for example, it brought your might to a 6, you could put it either in intellect or presence. Make sense? Has everyone spent their attribute dots?
Not yet.
No
Built
worries.
2 very different monsters. And I'm very excited.
Okay, can you explain the X part again? So for my jock, I chose force. So what do I do now?
So you put an X in the force box, and then you add 1 dot to each of the attributes that are across the force line.
Oh, okay.
If that would make any of them 6, you instead add it to one of the other ones that isn't that high.
Okay.
You got your attributes together, Chaz?
Just finalizing my innocent. All right.
Okay. Now we come to trademarks. Trademarks are your specialized actions tied to a skill or attribute. When your character uses a skill or attribute in a way that reflects the trademark, you gain 2 additional dice on the actions roll. And if the roll is successful, you gain directorial control over the scene. This allows you, the moment you gain the directorial control, you can use it at any point during that scene. However, once the scene ends, so does your opportunity. And the way directorial control works is additional successes you generate when you use the trademark. You can spend like dramatic editing for those of you that are familiar with Trinity. You can spend it to affect the scene. Okay. You begin the game with 4 trademarks. You will pick 1 for your origin path, 1 for your dark agenda path, and 2 from your archetype path. You will write down next to them which skill or attribute they apply to, and you may activate them once per story. Okay. So it doesn't mean you can't use those roles, but that means like once a story, for example, if you had, just to pick one kind of out of the middle of nowhere, it would help if I went to the right book, wouldn't it? So if you've got a Joker and they're using a sprinkle of chaos as the trademark, and they've got it attached to their larceny, and they want to activate that when they're trying to slide a whoopee cushion under where the killer is supposed to be walking, right? That would then be a valid activation of the trademark. You can still use your larceny outside of that, but you're specifically engaging that trademark in that one sequence. And then you get 5 successes. You spend the extra 3 to, make him slip and fall on a piece of very sharp farm equipment that happened to be nearby. That's how the trademark would come into play. Does that make sense?
Can you detail the trademarks, how many we get per path again?
It's 1 each from origin and dark agendas and 2 from your archetype.
Gotcha.
How do the skills tie in?
You tie the archetype, or you tie the trademark to a skill or an attribute. So you say, I have all the world's a stage connected to my intellect.
Okay. So you have to pick one of the 3 things that it gives you to
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct.
And then you can use it when you're using that attribute or skill once per
story. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I gotta go do something real.
Yeah, do you think?
I understand.
So what are you landing on there, Alex? Are you still digging?
I was looking at I was getting confused because I actually was looking at one character's agenda, but I was on the wrong character sheet. So like I was very confused for a moment, but I'm good now. So I'm starting the process over again. But it looks like I think I'm going to take at least off of the agenda. I'm going to take Just Gotta Survive the Night, linked to my technology. And I'd rather not, linked to my integrity.
I love it.
And I'll get to the other one in a second. I have to step away.
Sure. Do y'all want to just take 5 real quick? Recording break?
Huh?
All right. We'll be back momentarily. Okay. So we have returned. We're still working on getting our trademarks in order. We have a Baxter doing tricks for us, though, so that helps. Do you get your trademarks sorted out, Alex?
I'm working on them.
Excellent.
I'm in 2 right now. I'll switch the.
Chaz, did you have yours going?
Yeah, mine are good.
All right. What'd you wind up going with?
So my Joker has All the World's a Stage, Lovable Goofball, we'll go Street Fighter, and then Pure Cheese, because all the cheese.
That tracks.
Yep. My Innocent Didn't know I could do that. You're better than this. A little bit like, really? You're better than this.
Nice.
Mask off and remember me.
I love it. Excellent. You still working on yours, Allie, or did you get them sorted out?
I'm still working on mine. I have a couple picked out for the main ones, but I haven't gotten to the. My brain wants to call them side quests.
To your
The
dark
past.
agendas and your
Yes, there we go. The origin and the dark agenda. I haven't
so
got there yet.
the trademarks under the origins, are those, we just have to like make those up, or are we pulling those from the list as well? Like,
those are just suggested, yeah. So
okay.
there's a suggested list, right?
Well, if there's like examples, are those just from that same list? Where
No, I mean, you can connect those to whatever you want to connect them to, right? And to that end, you can even sort of make your own up.
I see. Okay. And what do trademarks do?
So the trademark gives you +2 dice when you activate it.
Oh.
And if you succeed, you can choose to take directorial control during that scene.
Okay. You have to succeed though.
Right.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay. We get one of each for Origin and Dark Path, right?
Yep. And then 2 for your archetype.
Or Dark Agenda, rather.
Yep.
Where do I find the trademarks from these? So like if I'm looking at Leader and Waiting, it says example trademarks. Where do I look at what those mean?
Well, that's just the thing, right? They just mean, it's just a phrase that you're activating when you use it, right? So you can apply its meaning to that attribute. So which one are you looking at specifically?
I was looking at Leader and Waiting, so I was reading example trademarks.
And that's Leader in Waiting.
Air of
Just a second.
sophistication, assume dominance, I'm telling daddy, sense of importance, and your future boss.
Yeah.
Like,
So go ahead, Alex.
I was going to say what you could do is take like assume dominance, and you could take it tied to might, and then like if you used might, for example, with that trademark, you would get the +2 dice, and then if you succeed, you get to be real fancy and mighty for that scene. But you're just gonna have to like pick what. So you could also associate with like athletics if you wanted to. Like I'm just saying, for example, you could pick whatever. You're just kind of figuring out the context, I guess. Like I took good first impression, and I linked it to manipulation. Because you can pick like you can pick an attribute or a skill, right?
Right.
Okay.
The gray eminence is back.
Well, he's a new kid, so he's like, he's trying to make a good first impression.
It's by wearing a trench coat and bringing a gun to the school. How did that like?
It wasn't loaded.
It was loaded with blanks, actually.
Right.
Yeah, Heather's is one of those movies that looks a little funny when you watch it, after Columbine.
There's actually, it's surprising. It holds up pretty well considering the last.
Sure.
Okay, so the last act, like Act 3, is kind of whatever. Everything leading up to it, right? It's a very well structured, and like it knows what it is. Like all of the characters are very tropey, and they own it. It's rare. It's very rare. They were color coded. I mean, hell.
They were color coded. That's true.
Unironically, like color coded.
Larceny covers just like general crime, right? Like just
Yes.
sick.
Yeah.
Planning.
Any sort of criminal enterprise falls under larceny.
Excellent.
Do you have a particular trademark decision that ties to, or were you just?
I just hidden intentions for the nerd. tying it to larceny.
Nice.
So where do I write what they're tied to? Just under trademarks?
Yeah, you can just write the trademark down and then put it in parentheses.
Am I attaching the trademarks from the main archetype to something, or that kind of has its own description?
Right. Those, it just goes into more detail in the main archetype. So each of those you will tie to one of the choices there. So in the main archetype where it talks about, for example, you've got the jock. When it says trademarks, all that in a bag of chips, the skill and attribute are just sample choices, right? So you pick one of those. You follow what I'm saying? So with all that in a bag of chips on page 22, you can take that, you can add it to either culture or persuasion or presence. Those are just suggestions that are there to make it go smoother. Does that make sense?
I don't know if I'm following it. Hang on, let me get to the page 22. So I chose pep talk. What does that go with?
Pep talk. From where?
Did I not pick the right one? I thought I was under trademark.
Those are tropes. We'll get to those in a minute.
Oh, whoops. Okay, I've been picking the wrong things.
You're fine.
Sorry.
You just jumped ahead, that's all. But you can keep a note that you're interested in pep talk. Yeah, the trademarks are the section above it with the table. Everybody else has their trademarks, right? And we can dive into tropes a little bit.
Working on the other character still, but yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, before we get into trademarks, we have to do relationships. And the way that works is for each member of the party, you're going to write down an attitude with an intensity rating. The attitude is how you feel about the other characters in the group. Those feelings can be positive or negative, but they should define how you interact with the other character. Other characters don't necessarily need to reciprocate those feelings. You might have different ratings. They might be totally different from one another.
So we should probably figure out which parties are which parties then, right?
Yeah.
Should we?
I mean, do we want to have relationships with all? Are they all? Oh, it's probably gonna be the same town, right? This just got crazy. So that's 9 relationships. Well, you don't need relationships with your characters because they'll never be on screen at the same time.
Right.
Okay. So you only need relationships with potentially 8 other characters, right?
It would be 6 other characters.
6 other characters. Yeah, it's not bad.
I'll be honest, I was going to make this easy myself and just tie it to the people.
Damn.
Whoever you are, fuck you.
No, I mean, like, my wild child will, like, if a relationship, like, will absolutely love insert Chaz's character here, whatever one we choose to have. I'll make it work. I'll figure out a reason.
Figure out a reason.
Yeah, if you want to do that for ease, you can certainly do that. Why not? We're playing with the formula a little bit, so yeah. Choose your players. You have one that's rated level 3, one that's rated level 2, and one that's rated level 1. They can be positive or negative. It's up to you.
Oh, Jesus.
What were you going to ask me?
I'm sorry. I'm still trying to do the right one.
That's what we're here for.
So I chose world-class cardio, and it says skills are athletics, close combat, and attribute is stamina. So what do I do with that information?
So you can pick one of those 3 to put in parentheses and tie that one thing to. So it will only apply to the role that you choose later down the road. So if you want it to be close combat, you attach it to close combat. If you want it to be off of stamina, you attach it to stamina. You just pick one thing that it will attach to and mark that on your sheet.
Chaz, you had an innocent and a And a wild child or an innocent and a joker, right?
Innocent and Joker, yeah.
Right on. Alex, what did you have?
For which? For what?
For the archetypes.
I have an innocent and a nerd.
Raj. Allie, what did you have? I'm sorry.
A jock and a nerd.
Copy.
So for one of my trademarks, I picked Peacemaker, and that was for my origin. So I have to pick what trait that goes with.
Yep, you can decide any trait you want to attach it to.
What if when it says Peacemaker, I mean like the DC show that I just watched on HBO?
I mean, you can attach it to athletics. You're just really good at that opening dance.
I love that opening dance. It's so funny. Okay. Thanks.
All right. The rest of you have your relationships sorted out, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Excellent. So, and the way that those come into play is whenever you act in line with your attitude toward another character, or it forces you into action, things along those lines, you gain a number of dice equal to the attitude's intensity.
No shit, that's funny.
You can only okay, 1 second. If it would give you multiple dice, you can break those dice up throughout the scene. But you can only invoke the relationship once a game session. Make sense? And then you get connections. You have 3 types of connections. Each one is attached to one of your paths. So access connections are specialized places that you can get into. Contact connections are a single person that you can call on for help. And group connections are a group or team of like-minded people tied to your path. You can choose, you get one of each, and you have to assign each of them to one of your paths. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's up to you which one assigns to which path. So for example, if you were playing a jock and you wanted to have an access connection to the school gym, you can get into the school gym 24 hours a day. But you might instead use your contact connection, have it be the gym teacher, and your access would be from one of your other paths. Make sense?
So it could be a contact or access, is what you said?
Contact, access, or group. So for example, with the jock, your group connection could be the football team. So while you can't get into the gym in the middle of the night, you can't necessarily call on the gym teacher for a whole lot of help. You can call on the football team. Hey guys, I need you to come help me.
Okay. I finished all my aspiration or my trademarks. I did aspirations a while ago.
Beautiful. So then you get your you have to do your relationships and your connections. So
relationship. Oh, down there. Okay.
Yep. Each one of your characters will have relationships valued at 3, 2, and 1. If you want to make it easy, you can just do it by player and have both the characters have the same. So regardless of what character Alex is playing, you have a relationship of 3 with that character. They can be positive or negative. It's up to you. You just need a word to describe them. So you need to know which character it is, the word to describe the relationship, and then the value.
Character description value.
Yep. Character description value.
And 3 is more valuable. Or is like
Great. Yeah,
one
it's
more dice?
three.
Okay.
3 is more valuable. It's more the more dice you get to add. So
Intensity.
It's intensity. That's a good way to think about it. Okay.
have you figured out your connections there, Gilbert? You looked like you were super excited over there.
I'm very concerned with the direction I'm taking the nerd, but I can't stop.
Keep going.
I can't stop myself. Like, I'm worried about this kid. I would call the police and be like, I'm worried about this kid coming to class. I don't want to be here anymore.
Do tell. What are the kids' connections?
I gave him an improvised weapon horde from his dark agenda.
Oh goodness.
From his what?
From his dark agenda. One of the recommended is because his dark agenda is good old fashioned revenge.
Oh right.
So
That's
one of the example connections is improvised weapon horde, vigilante gang, or your target. And I just saw improvised weapon horde, and I couldn't stop myself. And
All right.
I need supervision at all times.
I may or may not have shared an apartment at one point with Alex that may or may not have qualified for the improvised weapon horde. Actually,
there was shit everywhere.
there was shit everywhere in that apartment. There was nowhere you could occupy space in that apartment and not have a weapon somewhere in reach.
But it was great when random people would stop by and they didn't know, and they would like move the door. Like, what is that?
That sounds super fun. It's just like, hey, can you watch my kid for a couple hours? No, you don't want that.
My personal favorite was the squeegee handles that we acquired from Mobile.
The squeegee handle.
Those things are sturdy, man. They're sturdy. Next time, blackjack's at home.
Chaz, you got your connections sorted, or are you still working on them?
Just doing the last one from a Joker. Access. I have access for you.
What year is it?
Would you prefer to set it in a contemporary setting, or would you prefer it to be the 1980s?
I am generally unconcerned. It's just a question of whether or not the group is one of the groups is kind of social media defined or not. That's really
Solid.
That's really it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with contemporary. It'll take the least amount of us going, oh wait, nobody has a cell phone. But
so we're assuming now ish.
Yeah, now-ish.
Okay.
Okay, I got my relationships. Now what am I doing?
Your connections. Yep. So if you go to page, if you've got both of the books open, connections are explained on page 55 of Beyond the Grave. Otherwise, the short version is you get an access connection, which gives you access to a place, a contact connection, which gives you a person, and a group connection, which gives you a group of people. You can decide each one of those has to be tied to one of your paths. So, for example, you can have access from your archetype, contact from your dark agenda, and group from your origin.
Okay, so I can't all be tied to the same thing.
Right, they all have to be tied to a different path. So
Okay.
it's one of each, and each one has to be tied to a different path. Make sense?
Yeah. So,
Access, group, and what is the other one?
Contact.
Contact.
a person, a group, and a place.
Yep. So like I said, with the jock, it could be like the school gym. You have access to the school gym 24 hours a day. With the film student, it could be like the editing suites at the school. Like when I was studying film, media production, we had like a closed off secured studio that we could go into 24 hours a day. And then it became 18 hours a day because college students were college studenting. And they were like, you can't have orphaned access here anymore. It's getting very expensive to dry clean this couch.
It's funny you should mention that because his Talk of the Town connection is access to a studio.
I love it.
His new kid contact is the sister that pays his bills because he don't have a freaking job. Is a broke ass would be filmmaker auteur.
Right. That's fair. All right. Everybody got their connections and their trademarks done?
Not quite yet. I'm almost there.
No, that's fine. While that's going, we'll get into our finishing touches. We will need 3 tropes and 3 quips for each character. Tropes are special abilities based on what the characters do in movies, while quips come from what they say. You can select 2 tropes from your chosen archetype, and then a single additional trope from any of the other remaining archetypes. And then we do quips. Now, I always find it more fun to randomly generate quips for people, but if you want to pick your quips, we can do that too.
I'm good with random generation.
Okay.
You said for the tropes, we get those from where?
You get 2 from your archetype.
Okay.
And then you can pick 1 from any other archetype.
Oh, okay.
And the way the tropes actually function is described basically within the trope.
I'm not gonna lie, Joker has some ridiculous tropes.
Yeah.
Where are the tropes detailed?
In the archetypes.
Gotcha. I went too far. There we are. Yep.
And I will start dealing out quips. Who's playing Innocence? All right. Easy peasy. Your first quip, we have 2 innocents, correct?
Correct.
Your first quip, Alex, is "he's coming!" exclamation point.
Okay. Wait, that's my innocent, right?
Yep. And also for your innocent, Chaz, same quip.
And there's an exclamation point, right? I'm just making sure.
Yes, there is an exclamation point. The second quip for the innocent. Alex, your second quip is, "why did they do that?" And Chaz, your second quip. "I've never seen one up close before."
Wait, and what did these do for you?
If you can work it into this scene, and the group agrees that it fits, whether it be funny or just it dramatically fits, you get a +1 enhancement to the roll, the next roll you make.
Okay.
That you hang on to. And if you can work the same quip in multiple times, you can get up to a +5 enhancement by getting
stacks up like a snowball.
Okay.
We just have the one Joker, right?
Yeah.
All right. So your 2 Joker quips are, don't tell me you're a virgin.
Fits.
And I can't help it. That's just who I am. How many jocks do we have?
That last one's going to be too easy for Chaz.
Those are going to be his only 2 lines.
Yes.
We have just one jock or 2?
I'm a jock.
Just one jock. Okay. So your jock quips are, now that's a home run.
But I'm a football player. Can we say touchdown?
We can say touchdown. That's fine.
Okay.
And where's my beer?
Oh my God, I'm already in love with that one.
We have several nerds, correct?
Days.
Who's all got a nerd? 1, 2, 3. 3 nerds? Okay. All right. So, okay. Alex, your first nerd quip is, what a moron. Allie, your first nerd quip is, we can't just call the police. And Chaz, your first nerd quip is, they're around here somewhere. Or not Chaz, I'm sorry, Gilbert. I got my nerds backwards. All right, so Allie, your second nerd quip is, they're around here somewhere. Alex, your second nerd quip is, didn't you forget something? And Gilbert, your second nerd quip is, I'm smarter than all of you.
Oh, jealous.
Yes.
Jealous.
And then the wild child quips. There's just the one wild child, right? We have, death has come and he's hungry.
Jesus.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
And give me one good reason to care.
Oh.
Excellent.
All right. So now I will roll a d6 for each of you
What
to
do I roll?
determine where your third quip is coming from.
Oh, no.
Okay. So, Alex, your last quip will come from nerd quips for your first character. Your non-nerd character, I should say. You have innocent, right?
Yes.
Get me down from here is their quip. And the rest are all getting wild child quips. So, Allie, for your jock, your quip is, you blame everything on me.
Okay. Can they be like variations of those? Like if I say you always blame everything on me, or does it have to be those exact words?
You have to get those exact words out for the quip to count.
Okay.
Chaz, for your Joker, their last quip is they like to watch. And then Gilbert, for your non-wild child character, their last quip is, if this is a joke, I'll kill you. Which makes a lot of sense with your innocent, right?
Works.
All right. So then the characters that didn't get their last quips. All right. So your wild child's last quip, Gilbert. It's okay, but just this once.
Outstanding.
Oh my God.
Alex, your last quip. This is for your
It's my nerd.
nerd.
Yeah.
Where's the goddamn key? Allie, this is for your
Nerd.
nerd. Okay. Christ, I'm surrounded by damned kids.
Okay, boomer.
And your last character, Chaz, is your innocent. All right. And their quip is, what's it going to do? Bore me to death?
That's hilarious. I like that one. I'm jealous of Chaz's.
Yeah, these are some like solid quips.
All right. Anybody have any questions about those?
So we should have 3 quips, 3 tropes, right? 4 trademarks, 3 connections.
Yep.
3 relationships. Well, 6 relationships.
Correct.
I just have 3.
That's
I just
fine.
have 3 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can base them on the player and not the.
But each one of my characters has different relationships with the other players.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct. Now, once that's all said and done, we get into our cinematics.
Oh,
What?
what? Who that?
Now, in and they came from Beyond the Grave, and they came from Camp Murder Lake. There is an extra mechanic called twists that comes along.
That's when you grab us by the neck and like just kind of ring us out, right? No?
It's for randomly inserting plot shifts.
Oh, okay.
We may, full disclosure, I haven't had a chance to look through these as close as the rest of the rules for this section. So we may skip past them. We may drop them in on the second half.
I have a question.
I'm going to take some time with them because they're director pulled. Yes.
Can I change where's my beer to hold my beer?
Please, yes.
Sure. You can change where's my beer to hold my beer.
Yes. I've dreamed of playing this character for a long time. I apologize in advance if it offends anyone, but if it does offend anyone, you
How
probably
dare
should
you.
look in the mirror.
How dare you?
Okay, so yeah, I think the way that we'll do it is I will not draw twists just out of hand. If you feel a lull in the action and you want a twist, I will leave you the option to ask for one. And I may or may not work one in. I'm going to reserve that. Now, so as for cinematics, you get a certain amount that you can draw from as a group. And I'm just looking to see what that suggested amount is in Beyond the Grave. So again, unlike other Storypath systems, rather than having momentum, that they came from games use rewrites. Rewrites are generally generated by constellation and botches, and players use rewrites to temporarily assert control of the script, making creative changes to affect a scene's outcome. You may also invoke a cinematic immediately following an award-winning scene. So such as calling a stunt person, losing a film reel, taking advantage of out-of-place props. These are all potential cinematics. To the use of rewrites to get you out of a jam, you can pull any of these. So you will get to choose 5 cinematics you'd like to see come into play. You can decide on them together, or we can pull them randomly. It is up to you.
How many do we get?
You get a total of 5 for the group to use. Once it is used, it's pulled from play until the next session, or all the selected cinematics have been used.
What if we all pick one and we get a random one?
Okay. The list of available cinematics for They Came from Camp Murder Lake are on page 51. Some of them are refer to the larger text, and They Came from Beyond the Grave.
I have to see Dangerous Liaisons. Got to see it.
So the way Dangerous Liaisons works in Camp Murder Lake is two people run off to get busy, and that protects them from the danger.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I don't. Where are you reading this? Because you read
Page
that
51.
too fast.
Page 51.
Am I in the wrong book? They Came from Camp Murder Lake?
Yep. 51 of Camp Murder Lake. Now,
Oh, okay. There it is.
so Dangerous Liaisons is supposed to protect you from the killer. But an alternate use of it, and this is what I think we'll use in this game, is
That's what I wanted, was the alternate.
yeah, rather than running off and being safe because you're off making sweet love down by the fire, you go into some like awkward flirtation, and basically that keeps you, because it does not come to fruition, as it were, that keeps you safe.
Yeah.
So you're like awkwardly trying to make a play, but it doesn't go, it goes sideways, and that keeps you safe. And the reason being is because Dangerous Liaisons in Camp Murder Lake is replaced with gratuitous sex.
Gratuitous sex scene, yeah.
Which is on page 54, costs 1 rewrite, and you attempt to have consenting sex with a non-player character or even another player character. Again, provided that that's within our safety rules discussion. Of course, given this is a R-rated film, odds are far more likely that they'll get as far as taking some clothes off before running for their lives in their underwear. After the gratuitous sex scene, regardless of how much sex does or does not end up in it, the players discuss and agree upon any attitude shifts that may occur between or among their characters because of the scene. What happens, though, is you basically only the player who invoked the cinematic is safe for the next scene. So the person you're with is pretty much doomed.
Oh, that's so good.
You consent.
That's awful.
You consent to death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is one option. Some other ones are bad habit. With bad habit, you push a non-player character into a situation that could be disastrous by spending a rewrite. You suddenly need to step outside in a poorly lit alley for a smoke, or the target needs to go outside for a smoke. Indulge their insatiable need to read another chapter of a smutty novel. Basically, you get the NPC off by themselves so that they can die.
I like that one.
That's funny.
Badly lit scene costs 1 to 3 rewrites. Basically, you spend as many rewrites as you want, up to 3, and add an equal number of props or details to the scene that basically we couldn't see before because of the lighting being so shitty. So like, oh no, there's a machete under here. You couldn't see it. So that's the way to do it. You can also use it to make it harder for the killer to come after you during a chase. Basically adding in environmental hazards. There's the diegetic music cue, which costs 2 rewrites. And basically you get, no one can ambush or surprise you for the rest of the scene because like you hear the killer's scene.
Only if you're gonna sing it. Only if you're gonna sing it.
Disposable character is one of them. You spend a rewrite, there's a good chance every character is going to die, but some characters are more disposable than others. When you purchase this cinematic, one supporting NPC is marked for death. More importantly, the character's death will in some way benefit the actor of the player character in terms of screen time, making them look more dramatic or heroic in the process. It can be a convenient appearance. An attack that would otherwise kill you outright is instead transferred to the disposable character. Even if they weren't previously present, they just stumble in the way and get killed. No, which means you turn you miss your own turn in response to the disposable character's death to bellow a pain-filled no. But then you gain an extra experience point for the scene.
So are we each picking one for us, or as a team we get to use them all?
You as a team, you can spend out of them. Each one of you is going to pick one, and then I will randomly decide on one.
I'm picking that final girl.
Final girl is nice. Yep. You blow all the rewrites that are left in the pool.
Let's go.
And that person becomes the final girl. If your character is the only one left, you can buy it to add 1 scale to any attack that the character makes against the serial killer for the rest of the film. Yeah, it blows everything in the writer's pool.
Yeah.
And
we're going out swinging.
That's only left. The only way that can be activated is if everybody else is dead.
Which is absolutely going to happen within the first 30 minutes.
Another option is flashback. You spend 3 rewrites and you put the current scene on hold. The director cuts to a scene in the killer's past. All the players who didn't purchase the cinematic will play other characters in the scene. The killer's father, the hyperventilating therapist, prison guard, so on and so forth. Then the director runs the scene basically like normal, and you get some insight into the killer. After the scene is over, the player who portrayed the killer, the person who activated the cinematic, can dictate one fact about the killer based on the events of the scene. So this might be you learn their weakness, you learn some truth about them.
Some of these are so great. Like Only Catch Up, Party.
I was just reading Only Catch Up.
Do you have ones in mind? Because there's a lot of them. So, you know, do you have one particular that you would like, Alex?
No, I already picked one.
Which one did you pick? I'm sorry.
Oh, I wanted Dangerous Liaisons, but the alternate fucked up one.
Okay, so but you want Dangerous Liaisons, not gratuitous sex scene.
Right.
Okay. All right, so everybody make a
sounds
note.
like you want a gratuitous sex scene.
I'm just checking to see what you want.
I'm kidding. But do you though?
Yeah. I'll never turn it down. All right. Did you have one that particularly jumped out at you, Allie?
Where the NPC falls in front of things.
Okay. So disposable character.
Yep.
All right. Everybody make a note of that. Chaz, did you have one that jumped out at you?
Oh, that final girl.
Final girl. Right. Okay. And Gilbert.
Party.
Party. Excellent. So the way party works is you spend 2 rewrites. A party breaks out. One person tells another person. Before you know it, 50 people have all shown up for a house party nobody actually planned. But hey, this keg isn't going to drink itself. When you invoke it, the player and the director collaborate on how to introduce several NPCs into the scene. Some of them can be previously established. Some can be brand new. The time of their arrival is instantaneous. If it's used during a combat scene, the party breaks out all around you, potentially disrupting the killer's attack. Everyone in the party has a +1 complication of party fever. And if the complication isn't bought off, a random partior interrupts what you're doing and causes a mild inconvenience. All right. So we have them all, right?
We got 4.
Right. That leads me to the cinematic, the automatic cinematic, the random.
This is going to be chaos. This is going to be a chaos film.
I'm so excited.
Running Like Hell is the random cinematic.
Don't know what it is, but I like the sound of it.
Actually, it's pretty good for somebody.
How do we decide who uses what?
So to spend rewrites, you have to go into the writer's room, which means you say, I would like to spend rewrites, and then the whole group discusses it. They have to be done. Everybody's got to sign off on any rewrite expenditures.
Okay.
What Running Like Hell does is it is 1 rewrite. The smart thing to do if someone is running away is to run after them, but for some reason, serial killers would rather stroll leisurely after their victims. Of course, running from serial killers increases the odds of tripping and falling by 1,000%, so maybe they know something we don't. If you're attempting to escape, you purchase the cinematic and it gives you a +2 enhancement. However, any action the player character takes that doesn't involve running away gains 1 complication of focused on running. If you try to find your keys, fight back, do anything besides run away, and don't buy off the complication, you trip and fall.
I love the way they came from a setup, just like stepping into the writer's room, doing rewrite. I love this fucking game.
Well, I am glad to hear it, and I love it myself. So we have our cinematics, we have our quips, we have everything set up for our characters. Couple things that we'll need to discuss. First off, I want to talk about safety tools. I want to talk about, normally we use the X card. You can make an X with your hands. You can say X. You can type X in the Zoom chat. Full disclosure, I am least likely to see that quickly. But if you X something out, we kill it. If there's any ambiguity as to what element we need to remove, we will remove it. And then proceed with the scene without that present. Make sense for everybody? Anybody have any questions about the X card?
Is that just if it's making you uncomfortable or something?
Right. If it's making you uncomfortable, if it's triggering you, if it's upsetting you in some way, so on and so forth. You don't need to explain it. We don't need to know why. We just need to know what needs to be pulled out. So that's always available to you. I also like to touch on yes goes and no goes. So for example, my no-go for every game I run is SA. There will be no SA in any game I'm running ever. It's just not something I'm comfortable exploring at a gaming table. So, and my yes go for this is just going to be buckets of blood. I want gore all over the place. So do you have any yes goes and no goes, Alex, that you would like to add to the list?
So I would normally have one, but I don't today because It's a slasher film, and pets die.
Aw.
But it's for the film, so you know
Okay.
it's only
All right.
ketchup. They're fine.
All right. It's only ketchup. Excellent. All right. So do you have any yes goes or no goes, Allie?
I don't know what SA is when you said that you're not doing
Oh,
that.
sexual assault.
Okay. Me too.
Yeah. It's a pretty common. People don't want to explore that in games.
Yeah.
Is there any other yes goes or no goes that you have in mind?
Just that one.
Okay. Excellent. Gilbert, anything for you?
As always, you've got my one. We're good.
All right. And Chaz.
You got my no-go. For my yes-go, I'm thinking, would be kind of cool, now that it has to happen, if we could have a little bit of dismemberment, like lose a couple arms. Like we come in with 8 arms, leave with maybe like 3.
Did you say come in with 8 arms?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 8 among you.
And then like we come out like we're still alive, possibly, but you know, we have significant.
I think what Chaz is saying is like multi-person dismemberment, like more than one person has lost something.
Like he
important.
doesn't want a dismemberment scene.
Remember,
he wants like
remember
Like
Kill
a
Bill?
constant, like every scene is like, okay, we had 20 toes last time. We're down to 17. That's all right. Let's keep
Yeah.
going. Let's see what we got.
Let's keep going.
I think like the
Are we
club
taking-
scene at Kill Bill, you know.
right.
Yes.
Is everyone
Are we
comfortable
taking
with-
parts of other people and putting them back on other people?
Oh, we can do some grafting.
I
Nice to
mean-
meet you, Chaz.
Generally, no. Generally not part of the slasher tropes per se. Though I will absolutely, if one of you does get something lopped off and then put a weapon where that thing was,
Give me chainsaw hand. Oh
it's
my
sort of
god.
pretty good.
Like Sharknado.
So
I do have a yes go.
yes, go ahead.
I need at least one like kooky, what are they called? Like a herald.
Oh, like you're doomed.
So,
Oh, yeah.
something.
Yeah,
The
all right.
gas station
Excellent.
Exactly that
Yes.
one.
Station attendant with the weed.
all of
the
those
war.
things are true. Everything that you all just said. Travis,
All right, so-
I just need one of them.
So you need
Somewhere.
one warning of doom somewhere.
Yes.
We need multiple dismemberments
No.
and buckets of blood. Those are the things we need to make sure we hit.
Solid movie.
Okay.
Truly is a writer's room right here.
I think the best way to tackle this, because I would love to showcase one of the creatures that exists within the book, within they came from Camp Murder Lake. So I would like to put this as a group decision as to who our villain is going to be. I don't see any need to like build up some. This is not going to be a mystery story, right? You will all know as players for sure from jump what you're up against to a degree. I will of course personalize it. Okay. But I want to make sure we're all on the same page because this will affect things like our genre a little bit, like our subgenre. This will affect the types of content that we might or might not explore. Okay.
So
So
can
I
I
think
spoil
it's-
for everyone where I'm leaning? Like I'm leaning so hard on Hatchet right now. Like I just really. Like, that's so. I'm just being honest, everybody. Like that's where I'm living right now.
I mean, it's fair. I do want to run through the list. There's not that many of them.
Not like actually the character from Hatchet. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
The Hatchet feel. Oh, you're speaking my language. So first is Aliens Among Us. These are creatures from outer space that are dedicated to destroying Earth's inhabitants. Mean green mothers from outer space, one might say. That is an option. Cannibal Family. It's a
classic.
It's a classic. I have dabbled with some Cannibal Family films in my day.
I'm glad you added films.
Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you a terrible story about that.
You took a break in your sentence. It was just like
I was
Perfectly
like, dabbled
done.
in cannibalism. What did you do?
I've never dabbled in cannibalism. I've dabbled in filming fake cannibalism.
Okay, good.
The Dream Stalker, need I say more? That is an option.
Okay.
Evil Child, always fun,
Ooh.
always
Nightmare.
creepy.
I hate them so much. I hate them so much.
Nobody
That
took
would really
babysitter,
go-
right? Like I'm just
that
making
would
sure.
really go-
The fucking artwork in this book for Evil Child is top tier horror.
Oh, it
That
really is.
picture will haunt me for
Page 70.
decades to come.
Cool.
Yeah. The Fly Girl, which no, less Jennifer Lopez, more help me.
Oh God.
Oh man.
The Hitchhiker, if we want to get some like Rutger Hauer type action going on. Like, oh, we never should have stopped and picked that guy up, or going the other route, more like, you know, thanks for the ride, lady. Like either one of those is fine. Killer Clowns.
No.
Now we can either connect those with Aliens Among Us, so we have killer clowns that are in fact from outer space, or following the art in the book, we could go a little bit more like Captain Spaulding, which ties in with like the Cannibal Family.
Space Jam.
Another option would be Pleasure Demons,
Wow.
who are there to tear your soul apart. Yeah, you make your suffering legendary even in hell. That tends to come along with a more sensual experience of a film that then goes into more harder play. And there's also a variant on those called Pangels. So that's something that we could go into. Possessed Animal, if we want like a Cujo type thing. The Preacher,
Just a preacher.
which is giving very Poltergeist 2 sort of, you all gonna die now. The Shadow Creature, which is just kind of like this nebulous evil. The Stepfather, which is again like somebody almost like super psycho, like into manipulation, like hand that rocks the cradle type of vibes. If you want to get your Rebecca De Mornay in. The Surgeon, if you want to get into like somebody's like collecting parts for some reason, Dr. Giggles kind of vibes. Teenage Vampire, we could go near dark with this if you wanted to. I think Vengeful Slasher probably closer appropriates your Victor Crowleys, your Hatchets. And of course, Zombie Horde is an option. So are there any of these monsters that really spoke to you or that you're really not interested in touching on?
I am pro Vengeful Slasher or That Child, because that would just be one creepy ass game.
Yeah. What if we combo those?
Yo.
Oh my god.
A vengeful child slasher.
Yes.
I mean, technically speaking, I would just like to point out that Jason Voorhees was like 12 when he drowned.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Fair. That's fair.
Okay, so those are leading the league, our Evil Child and our Vengeful Slasher. Gilbert, do you have any, like a minority report you would like to give? Or do you have one of those two that you prefer? Or do you want to see a combination of the two in some
I'm
fashion?
down for anything. All of these seem fucking great. I'm down to be murdered by any and all. I can't stop staring at the child's eyes. It is staring into my soul.
Here's what I want. I want a slasher child of a cannibal family.
Yep.
The surviving kid from a cannibal
Yep.
family.
That's it.
Oh, yep.
That's it.
It's great.
Fuck that kid. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Well, there's been.
I think I have some ideas. So then the last thing that
you do.
I think we will need to do then is we will need to decide who is doomed and who is going to be our second cast. So there's 3 ways we can do this. The first way would be the rest of you decide which of the 2 characters that the person is going to play first. The second is we let fate determine it by each of you flipping a coin. The third is that I just pick.
You're going to do that anyway. You don't get to do that twice.
So do you want to put it up for community discussion, or do you want to let fate choose who is our pre-credits cast and who is our post-credits cast?
I like community discussion.
Yeah, personally,
community
I'm ready to throw
discussion.
motherfuckers on the chopping block. I nominate Allie's nerd.
Man,
Okay,
that was
well,
not nice.
Should take a little bit of. I'm down for community
I
discussion.
need you
We
to
should-
play your jock. That's all I'm saying.
I am excited for my dog, I have to say.
Hold my beer. Yeah, I want that like every 5 minutes.
I do want to know.
And
I
I-
want to know more about the characters. I want to know like what you chose for like the
All right.
concept and all that.
So Allie,
So I
you're first on the list. I guess you get to be the first one that we're going to run down. Did you get names for your characters?
Yes. So my
Right.
nerd's name, she is a she, her. Her name is May. And she's kind of like the picture in the book with curly red hair, glasses. But she's kind of got an attitude problem. Like she thinks she should be the boss. And she thinks she's smarter than people. Which I can see why she would probably die then. So that's her. And then the second guy, his name is Brad, and he's the quarterback on the football team. And yeah, you pretty much get it. Like he's a bra.
I want to beat the shit out of Brad already.
Which is why Brad needs to be there.
Yeah.
All right. So you're voting for, and I'm sorry, what was the nerd's name again?
May.
May. So you're voting for May to be in the in the first, the pre-credit death, Gilbert?
Yeah.
Oh, you are as well, Allie? Okay.
She could die. It's okay. I'm excited to play Brad.
Any objections to May being our first? All right, excellent. The motion passes. We will play May first. Next up.
I think Alex should get to nominate next because
Yeah, who would you like to
I
nominate?
painted a
next?
target on her.
I want Alex to play his innocent.
All right.
Did you have you got an innocent?
I do.
Yes, give us the rundown of your characters, Alex.
Okay, so Colin Culpepper Jr., my nerd metallurgist, is at the end of his rope. He's a doggedly persistent scholar, relentless in his pursuits, and he just needs a break because he is constantly bombarded with information from his truth-seeking group of conspiracy theorists, and yet dealing with, being an assistant teacher or assistant professor to Professor Humble at the university lab. He leads a very tame life, but he wants to get to the bottom of things. Tobias, my innocent, is the new kid in town. He is attempting to start a 10-minute mischief indie TikTok film group in which
TikTok done.
all of these indie filmmakers, it's like the new age of film for him. He feels like it's an underrepresented medium. So he wants to pioneer horror in 10 minutes.
Okay. Allie has already made her opinion. Has that changed your opinion at all, or do you want to see the innocent drop first? And what was the innocent's name?
I
again?
want to see the innocent drop first because of TikTok.
Okay. Chaz, what are your thoughts?
I want as much TikTok from Alex as possible.
Oh no.
So you want
It's up to you.
Gilbert, you're the split vote.
Yeah.
I'm gonna vote to drop the innocent.
Okay.
It's dead.
So our TikTok filmmaker is the first to go. Interesting. Okay.
So that leaves it up to me. Now, wait, no, I already went. So
Right. So now
someone else has to go.
who's going to be up next? We'll say Chaz. Let's get Chaz out of the way. Chaz, break down your characters for us, please.
So Hawks Jenkins, my Joker, he's a kid from down the way, had some rough times, was in a gang for a little bit, but he decided that like fighting is not the way to like get out. Like you gotta like become an entertainer, and so he has been going over to the comedy clubs to like try to work his way up to be the next like Kevin Hart. He hasn't made a name for himself yet because he's pretty shit at this whole like comedy thing. But that doesn't mean he's given up. So he just tries. My innocent Nano turned out to be much more horrifying than I thought she was going to be. She like just transferred to the like local school, whatever school closest, that she's just hanging out here. She has this habit of being super nice and sweet and charming. There was one person who said they saw her going into some like church or some weird church. That person was never seen from again.
Okay. And what can you run me the names one more time?
Hawks Jenkins from a Joker and Nano for my
Nano.
innocent.
So who goes on the chopping block? Gilbert or Nano?
I'm gonna go kill the I already forgot the archetype type. Not the non-innocent, the Joker. The Joker.
Kill Hawks. Oh, yeah, I'm down for that.
All right, Allie, what do you think?
Can you tell me what your character's quips were again?
Okay, so Hawks, that is good. Yeah.
Making the important decisions. That's fair.
Hawks Jenkins, don't tell me you're a virgin. I can't help it. That's just who I am. And they like to watch. That's fine. They just like to watch.
Okay.
Nano, he's coming. I've never seen one up close before. What are you going to do? Bore me to death?
I like Nano, so I want the Joker to die.
Excellent. Alex, do you dissent?
No, I had his name down already.
Beautiful. And then last but not least, that leaves us Gilbert on the chopping block, yes?
Yep. My nerd is Garrett Ferris. He's just your average nerd with some rage deep down inside of him. Comes from a tainted bloodline. I guess I'll leave that to Travis to kind of determine how fucked up he is, or his family is, or what have you. He's just a nerdy dude, and he loves science, and he wants to spread the love of science and also seek revenge on the people that have been bullying him. But he does that in secret. This is like his villain origin story if he survives this. For Allie, his quips are, they're around here somewhere. I'm smarter than all of you, and if this is a joke, I'll kill you. My wild child, Mateo Thrash Alvarez, is goes by Thrash, is just an anti-establishment wrecking ball. Is constantly getting into trouble. Has a parole officer. Has been accused of a crime that he didn't commit, and that's irritating as shit to him because it was was not his crime. He would have like left a signature. All good crimes come with his signature.
I like it.
And he didn't do it, damn it. And the problem is he didn't. He does everything. So whenever he's claiming he's not doing this, that's no one's believing him.
Your nerd's dead.
His quips are death has come and he's hungry.
Ooh,
Give me one good reason to care, and okay, but just this once.
Yeah.
I like him. I like him.
So is the nerd with the dark history?
how dark are we talking? Like,
Some details. I took the Puppet Master trademark 3 steps ahead. So a quick rundown. I built him. He's got 4 dots in science, also 3 dots in larceny, 4 dots in manipulation, 3 dots in composure. He's intelligent, cunning. He's a manipulative piece of shit. He's probably going to plant evidence on random NPCs, because the world has been cruel to him. So why not be cruel to the world?
Yeah, I kind of want to see him die first too.
he's on a chopping block.
All right, so we have our pre-credits cast, which is where we will start things off next session. We will jump in media res. You will be accompanying our filmmaker to a local site that is the source of a bit of local urban legend. And that's where we will kick things off. So the group that will be going there to help him make this horror documentary TikTok that he's making, maybe it's a location scout, will be
Well, it's gonna be May the nerd, Tobias Hawks, and what was Gilbert's nerd's name?
My nerd's name was Garrett Ferris.
Garrett Ferris.
And Garrett.
So dead. Okay, yeah, that's the group. That's so funny.
I love it.
That's good content.
Yeah.
I'm super excited.
Any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns before we call it a night?
I'm very hyped for this.
We're on next week.
Yeah.
Yes, we're on next week. We'll be diving into episode 1, which will tentatively be titled The Prequel.
Sorry.
We'll see if you make it the whole session without having to switch characters.
Is that
Or
possible? That
we
just
can-
means you're bad at your job.
or if we can do it in 10 minutes.
The challenge gauntlet has been thrown. You got to kill us all, Travis. And we all need our own death scene. You can't double up.
Yeah,
There's
that would
nowhere
be.
in these
yeah.
rules it says I can't double up.
It's
I am
just
God here.
disrespectful. It's just disrespectful to not
I'll
get
see you
your
in the
own
writing room.
Excellent. Well, that being said, I guess, yeah, we will plan on meeting up same bat time, same bat channel next week. Once again, I just want to remind everyone that they came from Beyond the Grave and they came from Camp Murder Lake are both available at Drive-Thru RPG. Also, if you go to your friendly local game store and ask them for copies if they came from Beyond the Grave, they should be able to get those for you. My name is Travis Legge. My pronouns are he, him, and they. When I'm not running games here, I'm either running them over at Plastic Age Plays on Twitch or writing them. And let's go ahead and have everyone else do their outros. Let's start things off this time with Chaz. Please tell us who you are, what you do, who you'll be playing first, pronouns, and anything else you'd like to share with the class or promote.
Hello, I am Chaz, PhD student who studies video game music storytelling, he, him. First on the chopping block will be Hawks Jenkins, a lovable rascal who just wants to make the world smile and has punched out a couple teeth in his life, like shit happens.
I love it. Next up, Allie, please give us your pertinent details.
Hi, I'm Allie. I'm going to be playing May. We're both she, hers, and May is ready to be somebody's future boss. So she's my nerd.
I love it. It's good to have goals, even if you'll never live to see them come to fruition. Speaking
She
of people
doesn't know that.
that will never live to see them come to fruition, Gilbert, give us your pertinence, please.
Gilbert Ramos, he, him. Next week, I'll be playing Garrett Ferris, my nerd, with a dark side and, deeply seated hatred for society. And I will see if I can at least survive to the last. My minions will die first. He's a piece of shit.
That's your goal, is to be the final girl?
Yeah, to die last.
I love it. And last but not least, that brings us to Alex. Please give us your pertinence.
Alex, he, him. Next week, I'll be playing Tobias, he, him, the aspiring horror TikTok indie filmmaker whose first and last horrible work will probably be filming his own death.
I love it. I am excited for it. I cannot wait. Until then, everybody, if you have not yet done so, go get your shots, please. Make sure you're taking good care of yourself and your loved ones. Pick up They Came From Beyond the Grave and They Came From Camp Murder Lake, and we'll see you next time. Bye.